Welcome to part 2 of how to protect your real estate business from cybercrime. This training is brought to you by Secure Exchange, Aon Australia and REIV. In part 2, we'll cover how to tell if you've been hacked, how your partners can lead to your business getting hacked, new attack methods, the importance of a security-first culture in your business, what to ask your IT provider, cyber insurance, and the importance of an action plan in the case of a cybersecurity incident. How to tell if you've been hacked. In part 1, we covered the 3 phases of payment redirection fraud. They were Phase 1, where the criminals gain access to your email; Phase 2, where the criminals wait for an opportunity to exploit; and Phase 3, where they tamper with payment instructions to hijack a transfer and steal money. You may observe signs of compromise during any of these phases. You may have heard that signs like your computer running slowly all of a sudden or your smartphone overheating can be an indication that your device has been hacked. This may or may not be the case, as these signs have other causes and are therefore not definitive indicators. Here are some better indicators to look for. If you receive an influx of emails from your mail provider, such as Office 365 or G Suite, notifying you about password reset attempts, logins from new locations, or changed passwords, your email account might be under attack. If you have multi-factor authentication enabled and you start receiving text messages with 6-digit codes you did not request, it means that someone has managed to obtain your password and that the criminal is attempting to log into your mailbox. This is why multi-factor authentication is such an effective protection strategy. If you do not have multi-factor authentication enabled, then you won't receive a warning at all. So, if you are using the same password for your email as a website involved in a data breach, you will not have multi-factor authentication code requests as an indicator that your mailbox has been broken into. Your mobile phone disconnecting from the network for an extended period of time and going into SOS or emergency mode could indicate that an attacker has hijacked your mobile number to steal your multi-factor authentication codes. This type of attack is called SIM jacking or SIM swapping. More about this later when we cover new attack methods. Finding that a password has stopped working could indicate someone has reset your password using their access to your email. For example, if you have an Amazon or eBay account that you signed up to with your email and you find one day that you get a failed login message and your password stops working, this could indicate that the criminals have used your email account to reset your password on the website. One of the biggest indicators of compromise are email forwarding rules that you did not create. Criminals often set up email forwarding rules to maintain access to your incoming and outgoing emails, even if you change your password or turn on multi-factor authentication. There are many different places where email forwarding rules can be configured. It is a good idea to learn how to review these rules and to schedule a regular review. Contact your IT provider for support with any rules you are unsure about. Other indicators of compromise are associated with computer viruses and your antivirus software. An antivirus alert message may indicate criminals have installed a virus to allow them to gain access to your system. Criminals will disable or uninstall your antivirus software to avoid detection. You should seek support from your IT provider as soon as possible if you find your antivirus disabled or uninstalled, as criminals do this in order to maintain their backdoor access to your system. If friends or colleagues receive emails you never sent, this may indicate you're already a victim and criminals may be attempting to hack your friends' and colleagues' mailboxes. If a colleague receives an email from you which you have never sent, it means that someone may already have control of your email account. What your colleague is likely to receive is a phishing attempt, an email with a malicious link or attachment designed to steal your colleague's password. Please be aware that the criminals may attempt to hide their tracks by deleting these phishing emails from your sent folder, so you may need to rely on your IT provider to investigate. In a similar manner, if you receive a push notification of a new email but do not find any new emails in your inbox, criminals may be deleting your emails to cover their tracks. In this next section, we will discuss supply chain attacks. What is a supply chain attack? This is when one of your partners or suppliers is compromised by cybercriminals, which then pivot and move to attempting to hack you using the identity of your suppliers, partners, or colleagues. These kind of attacks are highly successful, as most people have a certain level of resistance against email-based phishing, especially when it comes from a stranger. But what happens if the email comes from an email address you know and trust, such as a fellow legal practitioner or your accountant? As we discussed in part 1, these criminals are part of a sophisticated international criminal network. They won't stop at hacking a single business. They will use their current victim to help pivot to their next victim. Once a criminal has control of a mailbox, they also have full access to the sent emails and address book, allowing them to identify the victim's business network. They then exploit the implicit trust between business partners, which is much easier than attacking a random target on the internet. So if you happen to receive unusual emails from your trusted suppliers, take extra precautions as follows. If you're receiving invoices, purchase orders, or any unusual correspondence in general from your supplier, the safest thing you can do is call them for confirmation. This small extra step does not require a lot of effort, but can prevent you from becoming the victim of a supply chain attack. Let's discuss some new kinds of attacks that even multi-factor authentication and password wallets won't protect you against. SIM jacking is when criminals attempt to port your mobile number to a new SIM card with a different provider. It can be relatively easy to port a phone number to a new SIM card in Australia by only knowing some basic account information, such as the account holder's name and date of birth. Some phone providers have been getting better at preventing SIM jacking. Once your phone goes dark and the new SIM card goes live, criminals are able to receive the codes on their own phone and get around your multi-factor authentication. So if you happen to be in this situation, call your mobile phone provider immediately to stop the phone number porting process. Better yet is to maintain a separate mobile number which is not published as your personal number just for multi-factor authentication. 2FA, MFA bypass with fake login pages. Artificial intelligence generated voice impersonation attacks. According to the ACCC, work emails with words like request in the subject line are part of everyday correspondence for many of us. Cybercriminals know this and use popular words like follow-up, urgent or important, or payment status to target you and your staff in business email compromise attacks. Always think twice before you click when an email comes with any of these subjects on the screen, or generally attempts to incite a sense of urgency. Finally, you should be aware that your IT provider is also part of your supply chain. Therefore, it is susceptible to supply chain attacks. IT providers are attractive targets in particular because they have remote access to their clients' emails, files, and everything on their computers. So, certain criminals may choose to scam real estate businesses through their IT provider. You wouldn't delegate the financial control of your business to your accountant, so do not delegate responsibility for cybersecurity to your IT provider. Ensuring your organization stays safe is your responsibility. Technology alone will not eliminate the threat of payment redirection fraud and other cybercrimes. It can only reduce the risk. Humans are always the weakest link. Cybercriminals know this and even have a term for deceiving people. They call it social engineering. The Office of the Information Commissioner, OAIC, which is responsible for administering the Privacy Act and the Notifiable Data Breach Scheme, which commenced in 2018, released some statistics on the mandatory data breaches reported to them in their first year of operation. These statistics highlight that humans are often the weakest link in your cybersecurity defenses. No matter how good your technical security is, humans are always the weakest link. This is why developing a security-first culture in your organization is important. One of the best ways to build a security-first culture is to provide education and awareness around cybercrime. The awareness encourages you to think twice before opening attachments and clicking on links. Do you know the sender and recognize the email address? Is the request reasonable? Is the sense of urgency real? Remember to tell your colleagues that it's okay to question requests or ask the other party to confirm the details. Here's another tip. When confirming payment details, use Secure Exchange, as it provides a safe and secure platform for you to communicate sensitive information. Always consider secure communications methods, such as InfoTrack's Secure Exchange. It safeguards your communications with your clients and as all parties undergo a formal verification process. The Request Funds feature allows you to securely share your financial details with peace of mind. Your details are protected by multi-factor authentication. Secure Exchange also guarantees the funds up to $1 million for verified trust accounts shared through the system. Requesting clients' bank details is also easy by simply inviting them into your exclusive Secure Exchange workspace. Secure Exchange is only accessible to a pre-verified network of authorized users. Your client will enter the details themselves, which are then visible to you. It is important to educate your clients around cybersecurity too. Tell them how you would notify them about payment instructions. Remind them that payment instructions won't change by email. Encourage your clients to use secure messaging platforms as an alternative to email. Tell them about platforms like Secure Exchange and to make sure that they turn on two-factor authentication on their emails. Because criminals can perform the same kinds of payment redirection scams with their email too. Share stories and real-life examples to remind them to be vigilant. Another piece of cyber arsenal should be cyber insurance. You may already have professional indemnity and public liability insurance that may or may not come with cyber insurance. Although cyber insurance can't protect your business from cybercrime, but it can keep your business on stable financial footing if your business becomes a victim of payment redirection fraud. You should be aware that security breach investigations are costly as they involve expensive security consultants after a cyber incident. If your IT systems need to be rebuilt from scratch as part of the cleanup process, that also comes out of your pocket. Cyber insurance can cover these additional costs. You should always check your insurance premiums first, as money can run out quickly when your firm becomes a victim of payment redirection fraud. Our last topic we will cover are some practical tips for situations when you suspect your business is hacked or becomes a victim of payment redirection fraud. You should always disconnect your computer from the internet and stop using it when you suspect something is wrong. If you need to change any of your passwords, you will need to use a different computer. If you suspect that the criminals were tampering with any payment instruction, you should notify your bank immediately to stop any recent and future bank transactions from leaving your bank account. You should also notify your IT provider and have them take the necessary actions. The other benefit of having cyber insurance is that your insurance may cover cyber incident response services. Give your insurance provider a call and have them work together with your IT provider to minimize the damage of the cyber incident. This concludes the content for part 2 of how to protect your real estate business from payment redirection fraud. Here's a summary of what we've covered. Know the signs of compromise. Do not trust emails blindly, where a direction may involve a significant amount of money or seem strange. Check that the request is genuine by other means where possible. Consider asking in person or calling the person to confirm. Move away from emails. Educate your staff, suppliers, and your customers. Participating in training such as this is a great start, as people are generally the weakest link. Ensuring people have been trained to look for signs that a criminal may be attempting to target them is one of the best investments. Ask the right questions from your IT provider to ensure they are doing all they can to protect your systems and business to help you not fall victim to payment redirection fraud. Get or top up cyber insurance. Seek advice if you are not sure on how much insurance you need. Have your incident response plan ready well before an incident occurs. You don't have to have the best cybersecurity to avoid being a victim of payment redirection fraud. You just have to have better cybersecurity than the worst. Criminals look for the easiest target, which requires the least amount of effort. Implementing all the recommendations presented means you'll be better protected than other businesses and are less likely to be targeted for payment redirection fraud. Thank you for participating in how to protect your real estate business from cybercrime. This training was brought to you by Secure Exchange, Aon Australia and REIV.